In the words of Sonny and Cher, but it's not funny, the beat goes on. The death charts continue to be on Fox News and the other cable networks. They're whipping up panic, hysteria, and fear over COVID-19. Even with vaccines around the corner, I'm not going to take them. I frankly don't think they'll be effective, and I think they could severely harm you without sufficient testing in any event. But this is what we're dealing with right now. And the American public continues to be manipulated, not just by the social media, but by cable news, such as Fox News. And then we've got, of course, the governors in the various states who are exercising their dictatorial powers, Democrat governors. A governor, for instance, in Pennsylvania by the name of Wolf. I wrote an article last week about the Jewish left. You know that I'm a Jewish Christian and a proud Jew, but he's a good example of exactly what I'm talking about. He's now issued an order that you have to wear masks in your home. Now, taken to the extreme, does that mean that if you're having sex, you have to wear a mask? I mean, you can make some humor about this. And I wonder, and I don't mean this in any way, in a disparaging way to people that are gay, but could governors have issued orders that gays, lesbians, and others could not have sex and even in their house because that would spread AIDS a number of years ago for health reasons? This is the extreme to which we are headed. And it's clear that the ultra-left, the Democrat left, that's not even ultra-left, it's all the left. They want to take complete control over our lives. It's just like Atlas Shrugged of Ayn Rand. It's like 1984 of George Orwell. You know, I obtained 2 preliminary injunctions against the mass surveillance of the Obama deep state intel agencies. And the judge called it almost Orwellian, what was going on with this mass surveillance. It was not just with regard to President Trump, it was with regard to yours truly and everybody else who stood up to a tyrannical government, and even those who didn't. Hundreds of thousands, if not millions of Americans were surveilled without probable cause under our Fourth Amendment. And this is what we're dealing with. And it's what I talk about in my book, It Takes a Revolution, Forget the Scandal Industry. The deep state in the executive branch, more powerful than the President of the United States, not just Democrat, but also Republican, people who think that they should control the world, that have the levers behind them. And of course, you know, now they have the social media companies behind them. How do you think the government got this mass surveillance technology from Silicon Valley? We saw Jack Dorsey earlier in the week at a hearing. I mean, the guy looks like the child of Charles Manson and Osama bin Laden rolled into one, with nose rings and beards and everything else. I mean, this is what we're dealing with. And now whistleblowers are coming forward showing collusion with the social media companies, exactly what I had alleged in a complaint, a class action complaint, antitrust, that I had filed years ago for Freedom Watch and Laura Loomer. Well, we're going to renew those legal actions. I'm going to file a new case because now we know there's collusion, that it's anti-competitive, that they're attempting to monopolize, and no judge. It was a Trump-appointed judge, Trevor McFadden. A real disgrace, I got to tell you. So this is not plausible. It's not plausible at all. So he dismisses it, takes it away from the jury. And this is what I talk about in my book, because we have the deep state in the executive branch that's more powerful than the president, corrupt deep state, which many people believe through the CIA killed Kennedy back in 1962, who orchestrated events that caused major wars like the Vietnam War. I can go on and on and on. Well, and also, of course, the Iraq War under a false pretense. And then you've got the legislative branch, composed of court jesters, clowns, and criminals. You know, I'm really tired of hearing even people that's supposed to be on our side, like Jim Jordan, who comes on every day, no coat, you know, just a tie, wants to look like a, you know, big shot wrestling guy, you know, from Ohio State, and proclaims, we're starting investigations. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. You know what, Jim Jordan, please shut up. We don't want to hear you anymore, because you and your clowns on Capitol Hill have done nothing. And in fact, Maria Bartiromo called out Republicans on Congress yesterday. She's the one conservative left on the leftist Fox News, where she said, what did you guys do to prevent election fraud? Nothing. You knew it was coming. You did nothing. And now, of course, there's 600,000 ballots out in Georgia. And you can rest assured, this is my prediction, that the Republicans will lose both seats, and then we'll have a royal flush, right down the John, so to speak, of the left taking control of all three branches of our so-called government and imposing dictatorial leftist control in a Soviet-style gulag state. This is where we're headed. And then you've got the courts. I talk about that, and it takes a revolution too. Jefferson said they would become despots and tyrants because they're unelected and unaccountable to the people. They won't step in. They're not stepping in with regard to the election fraud that so-called elected Joe Biden, because, they're establishment hacks. That's what they are. They bought and paid for their position through campaign contributions, sometimes tens of thousands. And in the case of one judge from Rhode Island, the protege of Democrat Senator Sheldon Whitehouse, who I call Sheldon Outhouse, $500,000. This is what you got. Bought and paid for judges. So what is the solution? And that's why I want you to read the Declaration of Independence. I want you to read my book, read my lips in a positive way, and let's rise up and wage a second peaceful and legal revolution, as Jefferson predicted we would have to do. He said it would be bloody. I don't want it bloody. I want it peaceful and legal. And consequently, it's important to educate the American people right now. We need to have citizens' grand juries. We need to hold the criminals accountable in our government, and we need to take action. So go out and purchase my book. It Takes a Revolution. Forget the scandal industry. I didn't write it for money. It was inside of me. It is who I am. It's what I believe. Take it or leave it, but read it first. And we need to rise up, because we're now getting into a period. We're not going to have President Trump in the White House. We can say that, unfortunately, that's going to be the case because of these corrupt judges and everybody else. And now we need to do it for ourselves. So I want to God bless you. God bless your family. God stay safe during this holiday period. God is with us. And I'll be back tomorrow with another special podcast. Thank you for listening to me.